think it looks really good. You are live.
I love to play the saxophone. I take it with me wherever I roam, and the sound of the saxophone always brings me home.
She can play that saxophone.
I keep it with me every day, 'cause there's a song in my heart that I've got to play, and I feel it down deep in my soul. I love my saxophone.
Love that saxophone, man.
You run around or you can jump off the stage, and I know with the saxophone that's okay. You can sit, you can dance, you can rock, or you can stand and sway.
Go, baby.
Now what I do is press the first key down, take a deep breath and a good look around, and I blow in the horn and it makes a big, big sound. Hit a big drum set, that sound of the saxophone you'll never get.
That sounds great too, man.
Sometimes I wake up in the morning and the day seems long, but I can hum a little tune and I can play that song, and I know that my saxophone makes me feel I belong.
Well.
Doesn't matter if you're big or small, blonde or brunette, short or tall, you can play the saxophone all day, 'cause it's made for all. I love to play the saxophone. I take it with me wherever I roam, and the sound of the saxophone always brings me home.
Bring it home.
The sound of the saxophone always brings me home. Oh, the sound of the saxophone, it brings me home.
All right, there we are. Woo!
Hello.
Hello,
What you doing?
everybody.
Happy Wine Saturday.
Wow. We got a lot of really, really cool people coming in.
I know Mom and Dad are here. Hi, Mom and Dad.
Only the cool people are allowed in this one. So we got a whole new setting here.
We're in Hollywood.
We're in the Hollywood house and Mindy's really cool wall here. And man, we have a really excellent tasting today. We got a guest, Kevin Olmsted, going to come in. We'll introduce him in a few minutes. But wow, this is special. It's one of our first tastings that we're doing with a guest and someone who knows far more about wine than I ever imagined. And he drinks twice as much as I ever tried.
Well, I don't know about that.
Yeah, I know. He's a professional. This is a professional you're about to meet in all ways. So please, everybody, this is interactive. So chime in. We're going to ask questions. We're going to post questions up. So please go ahead and answer. There's no wrong. No, there's a lot of wrong answers, but still post them up because we'll goof on you a little bit. And
no, this is good. This is learning for me because I love French wines. I love drinking them. I love learning about them, but it's always been something that's eluded me, the details and everything. But let me just say before we bring in Eric's friend, Kevin, and my friend as well, but he's his friend from working in the wine business. Kevin is so fun. Kevin knows more about wine than most of the people I know put together. And it's just awesome. So this is our first time having a guest on.
Yep.
And this is exciting.
Yeah.
So, we get to be in our little Hollywood house and have you guys with us. And hopefully you're drinking something, but I'm drinking this.
So here we got, we'll post some people's comments here. We got people coming in from Canada and Los Angeles.
Saw that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Smooth Jazz family in the house.
What vintage? Don't know what that question. Oh, hello from St. Louis.
St. Louis, baby.
All right,
I
so-
think Marilyn's here. Hey, Marilyn.
One of the first questions we just posted, what are you drinking right now? Please share throughout the tasting what you're drinking. We're always interested in what people are drinking at home. And it is a requirement. This is not homework. If you are on this live feed, you need to be drinking wine, well, beer or any spirits or anything else. But we prefer wine, and we prefer Pinot and Burgundy. So please go ahead and chime in with whatever wines you guys are drinking right now.
Ooh, little Pinot Noir, I see. Yeah.
Yep. Oh, what do we got here?
Yeah.
We got Bill. Oh, geez. Well, Bill's breaking out the crazy one. Yeah. By the way, you can't see Kevin. He's off in the green room. He just gave the thumbs up, Bill. You hit the top level there. We all wish we were with you.
You've made him happy. You've made him very happy.
Oh, we got someone with a little Bordeaux. We got tequila from Bob. That's nice.
All right, Bob, I'll go with you on that one. It's
well.
a wine tasting, but, sometimes
all right.
you got to kick it off.
That's all right. All right, so keep chiming in with whatever you're drinking. And again, I'm looking down. Mindy will look at you guys a little bit more because I'm administering what you guys are saying and kind of going with the flow. But one of the first things that we do when we start every tasting, either when we do it live, which will happen again soon, hopefully, or we do it together, is what?
Cheers.
Cheers.
Here.
So everybody, cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers to you. Cheers to Kevin, who's in the green room right now.
Woo!
Hey, cheers. And everybody raise your glass. And we're all together here. So thank you so much for being here with us. It humbles us. We have so many friends that come in and drink wine with us. So
Well, it's fun. We've got our music nights on Tuesday, and we drank beer for that last one with Peter White. So
Yeah.
we have to, get a little more wine in, and we can drink wine with you guys on Saturday. So it's good.
Well, the thing is, too, Peter doesn't know this. We're going to try to do another one with him, maybe, we hope. We'll
Yes.
see. We'll see. But it has to be English sparkling wine. So no more beer. He might drink beer. But I'm going to have him taste English sparkling wine. So Great Britain sparkling wine is excellent. Now, different show, different time. So,
Well, no, you guys said you loved Tuesday night's sessions so much with me and Peter. And I think that's awesome. But I loved Tuesday night with Peter. I miss him. I miss playing with him. And it's the first time I've had someone over to our house to play. And it was just, it was so cool to just sit back and play with him after so long of not playing with anyone. So thank you guys for coming to that and supporting us and sending us PayPal donations. That was amazing. And it's just the whole thing. It was magical for me. Yeah. So I just had to say thank you, because a lot of you guys are the same ones who came to that. And
very special.
We're going to do a volume 2. So stay tuned.
We have a lot of new people coming in, so I just want to comment. Please tell us what you're drinking. We always love to see it. We got a ton of amazing wines coming up. Chapelet, Mirso. Everybody drinks really, really well in this group, and that is awesome.
You know what? It's a pandemic. You've gotta make use of it and drink good wine, right?
Look at that one. Oh my God, Kevin, read this. Kevin had to take his glasses. I know I keep referring to Kevin. He's in the green room when we could see him, and he's looking at what you guys are writing, and he's loving it. And that one he had a squint. So anyway, one thing I want to tell you is for Wine Folly. I want to do a shout out to Wine Folly. If you don't know winefolly.com, she wrote one of the greatest wine books in the business, and we use a lot of her graphics on this. It's an outstanding site, probably one of the best wine sites. If you're a super geek or just learning about wine, I use it all the time. So
I'm going to give you a little music to look through who's drinking what, right? Little wine, who's drinking what music, right?
Mindy's going off script. Very nice.
What's people drinking?
Very nice. Very nice. Well, while Mindy was playing, it was great. It was a good transition to the next thing we're going to announce today, which is, before we have Kevin on and start talking about Burgundies here, is adventures. We put on World Adventures. We were looking to put our first one on in Italy. They're wine and music adventures around the world. And I'm going to have Mindi tell you a little bit about this one, but we're announcing a whole year from now, which we hope by that point we can all get together. It's an intimate gathering in Sonoma, California this time next year. We just announced it. So go ahead, and I'll show these guys a little bit of the screen here while we're doing it.
Well, I'll take over, but you know what? We've wanted to do adventures because we love going on all the cruises with Dave Cause and the Smooth Jazz Cruise and the legendary Blues Cruise, and we've been on so many of them. But we wanted to do our own adventures, and we wanted them to be wine and music. So what better way to start? Well, what better way to start than Italy? But that was not going to happen this year. So I don't think we can make that happen. But what we can make happen is at the same time in 2021, as right now, we can be in Sonoma, California. That's where he lived for about 15 years in Healdsburg. And if you haven't been to Healdsburg or Sonoma, look up Healdsburg on the map. Look at some photos. Well, you can look at our website to see. Yeah. Go to Reserve Tastings and just press on adventures, or go to mindiabair.com and press on wine and music adventures. And it's the most storybook town in America. This place is like a postcard. There are huge redwoods in the center square of town, and every shop is just amazing and cute and handmade stuff and incredible wines and art. And what are there, 40 restaurants in the surrounding 5 blocks? Yeah,
about. And every one of them is about as good as you can get in the world. So
they're nuts. When we started dating, he lived in Healdsburg, and it was just done. Yeah. I mean, you're kidding me. So we're going there, and we're going there because he knows it so well, and he can call on all of his friends and winemaker friends, and
guilt them into having us into their wineries. We have friends that own wineries, winemakers at wineries, owe me favors, So
no, they like us. They like hanging out with us. I'll make some noise in the place, and we're gonna have some friends in to make music that I can have some fun with, and we can all drink and have a good time. So we've had fun making a cool schedule for you guys to have an amazing week in Sonoma.
Yep. And so just answering a couple questions. Yes, all of the information is found on our website. So please go to reservetastings.com or Mindi's page. All right. So enough about stuff we can't do for another year. Let's do stuff that we could do right now.
I'm for that.
We're going to introduce, and I'm going to bring him in right now. He's looking all pretty in the green room right now. So there he is, Kevin Olmsted. Wait, let me put your banner up. This is Low Tech. Hold on. Nope, that's not right.
So wait, we didn't cheers with Kevin.
Wait, here it is. Woo! Couldn't get his name up.
Hey guys, here's a big cheers to you, Kevin. Thanks for joining us.
Always great to be with you guys again.
Absolutely, man. So everybody, this is Kevin. Say hi to Kevin. Like I said, one of the biggest wine geeks on the planet, and he could do. Well, my brother's here, and he could do no wrong when it comes to actually drinking a bottle of wine within a few minutes. I mean, knowing about a bottle of wine in a few minutes.
No, you meant drink a bottle of wine in a couple minutes.
All right, so Kevin, let me tell everybody a little bit about you, that you're just not a neighbor that I hang out with, but you're actually a real wine guy. You're a 23-year veteran in the business. He's worked for wholesalers and wineries. He's represented some of the greatest champagne houses in the world with me and on his own, and wineries from dozens and dozens of countries. He's a certified wine educator for 20 years, and you'll see why in a second. And he's a certified sommelier with the Court of Master Sommeliers for 19 years, and he currently imports very small producer Italian and French wines. It's just awesome to go to lunch and dinner with him because he always brings the best wine. Introducing Kevin Olmsted.
Woo! Kevin!
There we go. And just in case, just one clarification, I'm a certified sommelier. I'm nowhere near a master sommelier. That is the.
I say master?
No, you didn't. I just don't want anybody out there thinking like, oh, that's a master somm. That's an amazing.
Kevin's a master sommelier times 2.
Stop it.
No, he's not. All right. So great. Thank you for everybody saying hello to Kevin. So we're going to start off at kind of a base level with Burgundy, and then we're going to raise it up to the geeky level. And please ask questions, but we're going to put something up. So where is Burgundy? Now, understand there's a lot of people here that know where Burgundy is, and there's a lot of people on this that don't know where Burgundy is, and that's okay. So this is what this is all about. We're going to start where it is, and then we're going to work our way up. So please, everybody kind of chime in. You know, you're welcome to just share your comments. Whoops, wrong video. There you go. And Kevin, talk to us a little bit about where Burgundy is on this slide right here.
So Burgundy kind of sits just off the middle of France. And, you know, one thing to keep in mind when we're talking super step one is you refer to wine in France by its geography. Here in the US, we would refer to drinking Cab and Chard. When you refer to Burgundy, you're drinking wines from the Burgundy region, like you would refer to Bordeaux or Loire or Champagne. Those are all just going to be the names of the regions. So we're running north, south, just off the midsection, in a little bit eastern part of central France.
Right.
Okay.
And you know what I love about this slide too, this picture kind of shows you that a lot of people think, and I did too, that Burgundy was a little bit more northern, and it really sits right in the center. I call it the right side center. Some people might call it the east side center of the country. And Chablis is a part of Burgundy. And you know, and I know that Gallo has not done the word Chablis well in the U.S.
Yeah.
But around the world, what does the word Chablis mean?
Cheap box white wine.
But to the people that really know Chablis, what does it mean?
No, but when I go to a cool little place in France and I'm sitting eating my baguette and my brie, and I order a glass of Sancerre or Chablis,
yep,
it's kick ass. So why is that? Because if I buy it in America and it's an American company, it's not kick ass.
Okay, so keep in mind, again, with all due respect to Ernest and Julio, who launched an industry, you know, they capitalized on a word Chablis and Burgundy to sell some wine that they wanted to sell. But Chablis, for example, is just Chardonnay, but it's made in the most northern part of the Burgundy region, typically in soil that used to be oceanic. So you've got all these kind of shells and this really kind of mineral-based soil. So true Chablis is very, very light, delicate Chardonnay. And whereas you also said you love Sancerre, Sancerre is a part of the Loire River Valley, and that's where they grow Sauvignon Blanc, and it's got a lot of like that river minerality soil to it as well. So if you love Chablis and Sancerre, you like white grapes that most people are familiar with. You just like them in a much more delicate, restrained style.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. And some of my favorite wines are from Chablis. If, you know, we're talking about Burgundy here and mostly going to talk about Pinot Noir, but when you talk about Chardonnay with Burgundy, and that's the next question we're going to come up here. What wines is Burgundy famous for? What two wines is it famous for? Chablis is just by far one of the best places on the planet for white wines, especially if you're in a restaurant and you want to order something off the menu. All right, so everybody chime in here. What two wines is Burgundy most famous for? You
just gave us one.
Well, I pretty much gave you both. I'm not the greatest host here. I know a lot about wine, but
we're learning. We just like drinking and we like playing music, and we like having Kevin here because he gets to answer all my cool,
No, you just set him up, Mindi. I'll knock him down. The part about Burgundy for so many Americans is so many people in the United States love Chardonnay and they love Pinot Noir.
Right.
Chardonnay is historical, and then after the movie Sideways came out 15 years ago and everybody jumped on Pinot, so red Burgundy is Pinot Noir, white Burgundy is Chardonnay. There are two other grapes grown, Aligoté and Gamay. They play a very, very smaller role, but the big picture here is if you're drinking red Burgundy, you're drinking great Pinot Noir, and if you're drinking white Burgundy, you're drinking great Chardonnay.
Okay, that simplifies it. That makes sense to me, and I didn't know that. I hear the word and it seems like a color rather than a wine.
Right. And, this is also a really good part of our conversation to jump in. And I know everybody online here has done some kind of gardening. Everybody loves to grow tomatoes or flowers or something. Grapevine's nothing. It's just a plant. And certain grapevines are going to grow really well in certain areas, and they're not going to grow well in other areas. Like I live in a very hot environment where I can grow tomatoes. Can't grow a bougainvillea to save my life. So Chardonnay and Pinot Noir are like kind of a cool to moderate climate. And the Burgundy region of France is very cool to moderate.
Yeah.
If you grow it in parts of Northern California, where we're very warm climate, it will still flourish. But as we all know, the longer you grow something in a hot region, it just gets really, really ripe and big and sweet. So maybe one of the distinctions is a California Pinot or Chardonnay. That grape, that piece of fruit, it hangs longer in a warmer climate, gets more alcohol, gets bigger and bolder, whereas Burgundy wines are a little more restrained because from a growing perspective, it's just cooler and they don't get the huge ripeness.
That makes all the sense in the world.
Right.
Okay, I love that.
Cool climate, cooler climate.
Yeah.
And just like in California, if you guys have visited Russian River up in Sonoma, warm days, cool nights, and some of those places, not too warm days in Russian River, but you get some of the greatest Pinot and Chardonnay in the world. Hey, I got a quick question, and this is what we do here because we're like, we're technically, figuring things out. If there is an echo or a ring or something that's kind of coming off, let us know, guys, because then I can try to figure things out here a little bit. Okay?
I heard it earlier, but it seems to be gone now. So I moved the mic a little further up.
Oh, you did? Okay, great. All right, but just let us know. Just keep chatting. Let us know if we could hear us because that's what this is all about. And by the way, look at all these answers. So we got Chardonnay, Pinot. Everybody's outstanding.
Chablis, Pinot, yeah.
Yep, very
Joe,
good.
CC, yeah, you guys
Very
know.
good. All right, so this one is why is it so expensive? And not just why is it so expensive, but I mean expensive.
No, it's why is it so expensive?
Like the
Because
top end is really expensive.
Well, yeah.
But the low end is really expensive as well. So
Yeah.
why is Burgundy so expensive when it can be even sold for $15,000 a bottle? So I got a little picture up here, and I think this is something that Kevin sent to me when he was in Burgundy.
Right. What you're looking at there is my wife and I spent some time there a few years ago. And what's great about Burgundy is you can just walk through the vineyard. You can go on a hike for 2 hours through some of the most expensive real estate outside of Manhattan and Appleton and just take pictures like this and look at the rows. To answer your question, it comes down to a couple of things, supply and demand. I mean, there's X amount of Burgundy and people have been buying it for hundreds and hundreds of years. And it's all small family farmers who just make so little of it. It really does come down to supply and demand.
Yeah, so one of the things that Kevin and I were talking about before this, not a lot of people know this, but if you look at that picture right there, in California, most vineyard owners will own big chunks of land or pretty sizable chunks. In Burgundy, you could have just those 2 rows owned by one producer. And it's very common just because of the way things have played out there after the wars. So it's so expensive primarily because of the supply, as Kevin was mentioned, is just not there. And all these places have small, little, tiny amounts of wine. And then the other reason I think is because it's so damn good and it's so hard to make, right? Pinot Noir is not, we're going to talk about Pinot after Mindy's music intermission, but it's just so difficult to make a really good Pinot. Either you make it really good or it's just not very good at all. Where Cabernet, Zinfandel, Merlots can kind of be decent, Chardonnays, but with Pinot, I'm not sure if you agree with this, Kevin, but it's either really excellent or it's just a little tough to get through.
Right. There's a great kind of, I don't know what the exact expression is. Like there's 2 Pinots. There's great one and ones that just underwhelm. Those middle of the road ones. Yeah. It's got really thin skin. It's that, as a father, and you'll understand, Pinot Noir is just that temperamental kid. You've just got to have, really touch. And if you underdo it or overdo it, you're just going to get a bad result.
And a picture I just put up right now, this is one of the most famous brands in the world, if not the most famous brands of the world, is some of the Bordeaux houses of Latour and
Margaux.
Yeah. And California. But Romanée-Conti is DRC, Domaine de Romanée-Conti, is legendary in the business. And as I mentioned, in some of the auctions, they can go for $15,000 a bottle. This picture right here could be a couple $100,000 worth of wine. So it's a pretty astonishing number. But, Kevin here in a little bit is going to talk about, I think this is going to be excellent. We're coming up to why we believe you could actually go out and get value in Burgundy. It's value for Burgundy, but we're going to show you some things, talk about some things that allow you to kind of find Burgundy in a more kind of our way.
You mean find the wines?
Find the wines at places where you don't break the bank. You're not spending a lot of money. You're spending well under $100 or $50 sometimes.
See,
to
that's
find an
cool because
excellent
that's realism.
Yeah.
You know, we can't go out and spend $15,000 a bottle on wine, even though that would be amazing.
Yeah.
But to be able to know all these little, you know, all these little wineries and these little producers and stuff, that's only something that someone like Kevin would know.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're going to come up to that right now. I love this part of our tasting, guys. I really do, because as long as I know about wine, and like I said, Kevin is me times 10, the wine labels in France are just difficult to understand.
Yeah.
They make it really, really hard. As much as I know about wine, I still look at the labels and get confused sometimes. So we got a really cool segment that I think people are going to love here. I'm going to put up a picture of a wine label from France. Okay.
Right.
And let's walk through it, Kevin, because people really struggle with this. I know I do as well. Let me take down that little keywords. We'll do that at the end here. So go ahead and this looks like a very typical French wine label, right? Kind of gaudy and goofy and informational and old.
When you approach this, and I always tell people, if you walk into a wine shop and on one side of the aisle, say you've got Australia and California wine, and the label's in English and it says Chardonnay, and you can look at that and understand it, and you think, I know what I want to buy. And then you turn to the other side and you see a French label or Burgundy label. And after you've stared at it for 4 seconds, you turn it upside down, thinking it'll make more sense that way.
It'll probably look the same to me, man, or something.
Right, you don't speak French. So they are a bit complicated, but like anything, once you peel it apart, that's where you'll get to. So the first thing before we kind of get to the label is to understand the classifications of how this is all done. So earlier, Eric showed a map of Burgundy, and actually behind me, I've got the same maps framed. They're just articulated in a different sense. That is south and that is north. So the main part of Burgundy, the Côte d'Or, the Golden Slope, is just that. It is a north to south slope that goes from east to west.
Right.
Generally speaking, it goes like this. The finest vineyards within all of Burgundy, there's 32 of them. They're called Grand Crus. And they're generally more toward the top of the hill. And these are the most expensive grapes, again, on planet Earth outside of Manhattan and Africa.
All right. So let me stop you there. So Grand Cru, and there's a cooler way to say it, and for the people who actually could speak French, right? It's Grand Cru. That's still not the best way to say it. You're saying that's more the elevated vineyards in Burgundy.
Right. So
Right?
fruit or any wine that comes off of the Grand Cru vineyards are going to be the kind of wines that few people on earth can afford and find.
All right.
And there's 32 of that now. Below that, then you kind of get to the B-level status. You get to the Premier Cru vineyards,
Right.
which are still really good, and they're more mid-slope. About a lot of those.
Yeah.
And then after that, think of it as concentric circles. The smallest, most sought after, the Grand. Then you've got some Premier Cru.
Get the filet mignon.
Burgundy is also made up of a series of villages. Then
Right.
you can just get grapes from a certain village, and then this is where we're going to get to on the value conversation, and maybe the wine's just named after the village. Or if you just have a blend of grapes from all the Burgundy region total, it's just called Bourgogne.
And that's what we are drinking right now, Grand Vin de Bourgogne. And this was still a $70 Burgundy, right? Doesn't have to be. The villages or the villages are a lot, can be a lot less. This is an excellent wine, but
Right.
yeah. So this is one of the greater area ones that we were able to get at K&L here in Los Angeles.
Okay,
So.
someone asked, and I forget who asked, forgive me,
yeah.
earlier, for Grand Cru, they knew what Grand Cru was, but they said in California terms, what's the equal in kind of California terms?
That's
Because
a good question.
a lot of us know California wines much more than French wines being from America.
That's a great question.
Yeah, what's the equivalent kind of?
Well, it's for somebody who's looking for that. Grand Cru, remember, was classified hundreds of years ago for all certain kinds of reasons. But if you look at historically and what truly puts out some of the best fruit, you can even look to the original Tocolone vineyard from Mondavi. You can look to a lot of the Santa Lucia Highlands, the Gary's vineyard stuff up there in the Central Coast, and maybe even out along West Side Road and the Russian River. You look at West Side Vineyard.
Well, and another equivalent example outside of Pinot is just think about Cabernet, because a lot of people know about Napa Cabs. So think about the Napa Cabs that are up in Howell Mountain or Spring Mountain or Atlas Peak. To Kevin's point before, those are all high, obviously, right? Mountains. Yeah. And then down on the valley floor, it doesn't mean that all of them are this way, but you'll get more of the Napa Valley designation. They're still outstanding, but they're definitely not as expensive or sought after as a Howell Mountain, which is smaller up on the hill and just a little bit of a different cut of the meat, So, okay. So that was great. I love going through that. Our wine label here, Kevin said, is way too early to drink, as is 2014. And Kevin, what are you drinking today, actually? Because he's probably pulled out some rock star stuff like we have some people here.
So what I'm drinking is from the village of Gevrey-Chambertin. So this village only grows red grapes. There's no white wine from this village. So the village is Gevrey-Chambertin, which has 9 Grand Cru vineyards. It's got DRC within this village. And then the vineyard is ranked Premier Cru, and the vineyard is called Le Vaux Saint Jacques.
Hold it up to the camera, like really close. Let's see, because we can see it.
Yeah.
A little higher. There you go.
Nice.
Hey, when's the last time I told you a little higher? Huh?
Yeah. So this is at the top of the slope, and it's only a Premier Cru wine. This goes back hundreds of years. And it's from the 2015 vintage. 2015, very ripe, very consistent vintage. So things got good ripeness, and it's going to age really, really well for years. So this is going on 4.5 years old. I think 2 hours ago. It's awesome.
All right, so I'm inviting everybody over to Kevin's house. He lives in the East Bay of Northern California. He's got, I would say, a refrigerator in his garage, but it's kind of like a dorm room that's air conditioned in your garage. And I'm assuming that it's got a huge dent in it since you've been home for a long time. So,
yeah, a little bit.
All right, so
over there.
We're working our way up to Mindy's intermission here. We're going to talk about food and wine pairing.
I'm working my way to it. I'm working hard for
it. Well, Mindy works all Tuesdays still, so this is one where Kevin and I have to do the heavy lifting.
I work.
All right, so two last things here. We're going to go through keywords because, again, we just went through the labels. So let's go through a couple things that we see in all these labels, right? But most people don't really know what they are. I used to manage Clos de Bois for a little while, and 99% of the planet, including me, didn't even know what a Clos was. You see it on labels all the time.
I still don't.
So real quick, and we went through a couple of these, Premier and Grand Cru, but tell us about a few of these words that you see on Burgundy labels or French labels in general.
Right. The key to breaking down a French label is you don't have to learn French. You just learn the keywords. So you know who the producer is, and you know whether it's a Grand or a Premier Cru or a Village or just a general wine, the same way that a wine that says California was sourced from all of California. If you see the word clos, it just refers to the word closed. So it came from one specific walled off vineyard. So clos means it came from a walled off vineyard. Another word you'll see a lot on, unfortunately, a lot more expensive things is monopole. So monopole means there's a single owner of one vineyard and nobody else can ever draw fruit from it. So that's the great thing. I mean, that's stuck within a family.
All right. So wait. So let me make sure I understand that. So on a label, if it says the word monopole, and did I spell it correctly, by the way?
You did. You might be missing a few, but
never spells it right. Never.
I knew I got somewhere. So that means that it's one producer, one grower, all picked uniformly, one producer.
And that I should back up for 10 seconds and let people understand why that's meaningful. After the French Revolution, which essentially is when the people of France rose up against the church and said, no, you don't get to own everything. It should be for the people. All the vineyards of Burgundy were turned over to the local farmers. And since the time of the French Revolution, the way that vineyards work is, let's just say initially one family owned it and then all the kids got married. So then the vineyard ownership went down to then, okay, I had 3 sons. So now 3 families own this and each of them had 8 sons. And so all of them. So what you could have, and you put up a great picture, Clos Vougeot is one of the most infamous vineyards within Burgundy. Within that one vineyard, now after hundreds of years of what was called the primogeniture laws, you could have 75, 80 families who each own anywhere from 1 to 3 rows within that vineyard. So
and you think about, you think about some of the wealthier families, Kevin, too, when they start infighting and when it starts breaking down amongst the kids and the grandkids, these become like crazy, legal bounds for fights. And it's amazing. So this one picture, we're looking at Claude Vigneault. Is that how you say it? Vigneault. The way this one picture here could have hundreds of owners from here to that chateau. Right?
So anybody listening tonight, you might see the wine, a very popular winery, Jadot. You will get Claude Vigneault from Jadot. You will get Claude Vigneault from small producers you've never heard of. Again, each one of those rows is owned by somebody different, and each one of them has a different gardening or farming philosophy. So 2 rows might be hedged and cut in a certain way, and then the 3 rows next to it look like Sideshow Bob from The Simpsons. Like grow.
Right. Imagine if you, this is a great example.
I get that visual. I like that.
And so imagine if you're, for a lot of people on here probably have a garden and you grow tomatoes. Now, Kevin's got, he likes cherry tomatoes and I like heirloom, the bigger ones, whatever it is, right? So we could literally have our tomato rows right next to each other and they cost thousands of dollars per whatever, little foot of whatever we produce off of it. And we have to farm and produce our tomatoes differently. So that's another reason why it's so damn expensive, because it's so hard to do it, but they all do it pretty well,
The wine's good.
So going back, exactly. So going back to the vocabulary lesson, if you see the word monopole, that never happened. One vineyard is owned by one producer, by which I mean one winery.
All right, so Laura has a great question here. We're going to talk about how you buy Burgundy, and then we're going to go on to Mindi Plain, because people only want to hear Kevin and I talk about wine for so long. So,
Kevin, Emily is talking about Sideshow Bob, the fact that, we're in a Burgundy discussion, totally highbrow, Burgundy discussion. He's like, one just looks like, amazing. The other one looks like Sideshow Bob. And a few people did catch that. Just me.
Hold on, we got another even a better comment here, Kevin.
Okay, that's my niece. So
yeah. I don't know what that means. I don't know how far we should go into this. I have never seen Kevin's tomatoes, just for the record. I'm assuming they're spectacular. I'm assuming they're amazing.
I got a lot of them.
Is this code? I don't know. I don't. Yeah. Okay.
So let's go back to the question. Somebody teed up to your itinerary. Laura asked the best question there is.
All right.
The best place to purchase French. It's not so much even French wine, but let's talk about Burgundy for a second. There is Burgundy that is available pretty readily at a lot of retailers, but this is somewhere where I would really encourage all of you guys, everybody. This may not be the time to go to Safeway or to Kroger or to ABC. Find a local small wine shop. Find the people whose job it is for years in and years out to travel, to deal with vendors, to taste, and they kind of know for 5, 10, 20 years a really good litany of how the vintages have done. This is really where you want to trust a good wine shop and walk in and say, hey, I don't really know a lot, but here's what I want to spend, and I really kind of like this. It's a really good opportunity to start engaging a good small wine shop.
Yeah, I think, and a good wine shop for us is Kevin and I have sold a ton of wine to the big retailers. Like we have a lot of people here from Florida, so Publix and Winn-Dixie and Safeways and Kroger's and H-E-B's for all you guys in Texas. But a good wine shop also could be Twin Liquors in Texas, or Specs, or ABC in Florida, or Bev Mo. It could be Total Wine, by the way. Total Wine's got a very good French section. But and you can get, the Jadots. You can get $20, $30, $50, $100 French wines there, Burgundy wines. But, when you're drinking what Kevin's drinking right there, then you want to go to your wines. You want to go to your Wally's, your wine warehouses in Los Angeles.
I love K&L. It's down the street from our house here, and they're awesome. Your
Binny's in Chicago, every place, Gary's in New Jersey.
You want to go to Primo, Walnut Creek.
Our neighbor walks into
Morel's in New York.
K&L. Oh, yeah, Morel's.
New York.
Our neighbor George walks into K&L down the street from our house. We just walk there, and they know him by name. Yeah. Like, hey, George. And they keep everything he buys and everything we buy on their computer. So if you like something and are like me and I forgot what it was, and I walk in the shop and they're like, hey, Mindi, I'm like, what did I buy 2 weeks ago that was so good? It was red. It was from France. It had a boring label. And they're like, boom, it's this. And I love that. And I know different wine companies do that, but our K&L does.
Sales reps in these high-end wine shops are super geeky.
Love it.
We just bought like I said before, we bought an English sparkling wine. No, we bought this wine from K&L, and Kevin, you'll love this. The sales rep came out, because of social distancing. She came out to handed it to us in our car, and she had a bottle of champagne tattooed on her arm. So you're geeky when your bottle. Kevin, do you have any champagne tattoos, Kevin, that we should know about?
Inappropriate questions.
On your tomatoes anywhere?
Inappropriate
Not
question.
good for them, though. Not good. So once you find that retailer, once you find the people you trust, like any other time that you're exploring and discovering wines, you might have to kind of take a map in, but go in and say, here's the style of California wine I like. Here's the style of Pinot I like from New Zealand. Here's the style of Pinot I like from Oregon.
Yeah.
And give them a little bit of a roadmap. Like you like it big and unctuous. You like it really restrained and, really delicate and hard to figure out. And
acidic or the top savor. Right.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to start with there. You can do amazing things with, for example, Macon Village. Macon is south of the Côte d'Or. You can get a screaming value Chardonnay down there for $15 to $25.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and work your way through it. Make it a process. Start kind of unwinding this knot a little bit by getting a couple of bottles every week and just going village by village.
Kevin, that was excellent. We went from kind of the high level all the way down. And we're going to have you back in for the Pinot Noir tasting that we're doing. But there is someone sitting next to me that most of the people here probably want to see more than you and me.
No.
I know I do. So we're going to do a little wine and music intermission. But before you go.
It's a music intermission. This is a wine tasting.
Right.
It's a music intermission.
Music intermission. Like we do during Mindy's shows, we do the wine intermission.
Yeah.
But real quick, everybody, please comment on what wine do you think goes with Pinot Noir, which is what we're drinking now, and Burgundy Pinot Noirs. So, Mindy, what wine, what music do you feel that goes with Burgundy Pinot Noirs?
You know what? I've always thought that Pinot Noir is more a kind of heady wine, a thoughtful wine, and it's not just the fruit forward kind of stuff. So I paired our Pinot Noir that came out in reservetastings.com. I paired ours with kind of thoughtful music. It was music about what the world could be if we were good to each other, or what makes the world a better place, or just thinking about different things, humankind and that kind of stuff. So I really liked the more thoughtful songs.
What we talked about when we created this label on the screen right here, Imagine, which Mindy created this design, by the way, Kevin. I mean, she's an outstanding label designer along with being a great musician, right? But what we loved about this label was Imagine the song. That it fits with Pinot Noir because it's incredibly difficult to make this. Kevin mentioned that before, but it can go in all kinds of different directions. It's more of a heady wine. To me, a rosé is all about your heart, and champagne's all about your heart. Makes you happy, makes your heart, sing. But Pinot Noir makes your mind think. So the words, the songs like Imagine, that was one of your most, watched YouTube videos. To me, fits Pinot Noir perfectly because it makes you think. So it makes you take over the world and think about things the right way, especially in today's world. So
no, I think that it's a perfect song for it because it's simple. It's not like there's a bunch of grapes or a bunch of crazy stuff going on in a bottle of Pinot Noir, but it takes some thought to make it, and and some doing. So we chose Imagine for our brand. Our first Pinot Noir that we put out, which we've got another one coming for our later in this year shipment.
Oh, don't spoil it.
So that's going to have a different playlist. But for our, I can say, first Pinot Noir, which was Imagine, this made all the sense in the world. So can I play them a little bit?
So we're going to say goodbye to Kevin for a second so we can put Mindy up on the screen.
Bye-bye, Kevin, for now. For now. Party on. Drink heavily. I love playing this song. I've always thought it's a beautiful song. I've always thought John Lennon is just one of our most incredible songwriters of all time. But yeah, it is pretty timely now too.
Yep.
But I did this version in my friend's living room, and it was just, you know, it was just kind of off the cuff. We just had fun.
Yep.
Arlen Scherbaum, we were in his living room, and he was playing a B3, and we were just having a blast. And sometimes it's about that, just kicking back with your friends. But that video, I think, has over 3 million hits on YouTube, which is just crazy. But it was just real, and it was fun. So that's what I'm going to play for you now, without the band, because it's me and him. We're the socially distanced ones.
Do you need room, or are you good?
I think I'm good. Is it going to be super loud?
No,
Can I get your ear?
not at all.
No, you don't want that. You don't want that. That's too much. Okay, hold on. I need inspiration. Yes, I like that. What else, while I'm playing, any other songs you think pair with Pinot Noir or Burgundy, that kind of thing? Let me know.
Yeah,
but
please
for now,
let us know.
A little John Lennon with our own twist on it, a cappella. I'm just going to solo a little bit because I can.
Go ahead. All right, you ready? Here's the applause.
Woo! Thank you.
We had a couple. We had Smile always pairs with Pinot Noir. We had Come As You Are. Of course,
oh, wow.
pairs, you know, so we had some good suggestions.
Here we go.
Uh-oh.
Little Come As You Are.
Oh. For Brian.
agree with you. I think Come As You Are is a good one.
Yeah.
You know, it's thoughtful. It's, you know.
That's a great one.
Yeah, my second
Perfect.
record.
Nice. All right. Well, we did a little Burgundy tasting and we did a little wine intermission. Does anybody else have any questions to ask Mindi while we have her here?
Oh, for my music intermission. Come
Yes.
on, bring it on. They're asking you the wine questions. They're asking Kevin the wine questions. They're going to ask me music questions.
We got some applause for you too from Cheryl and
Thank
other
you.
people are coming in, George.
And I
you
did
know.
some yard work today, by the way. You guys were talking about tomatoes
We're
and
going to talk
growing
about yard
stuff.
work, really?
And it was
It's like
fun.
super not sexy.
Oh no, yard work is sexy.
All right, well, go ahead.
I mean, what are you supposed to do during a pandemic, right?
Well, actually, I did look outside today, and it was pretty sexy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you doing yard work, but you know.
No, but it's nice. You do some yard work. You know, trim the little lemon tree and all this kind of stuff. Then you come in, and your husband has a bottle of awesome French wine for you, and so that's sexy.
Yeah, it is. You know what else is sexy too? Out of the bottle of wine over there. No. No, you can't take it on your own.
But we're still drinking this. How
Yeah.
can we? Yeah,
Well, we're not going to open it just yet. But we got some more Petite Syrah, so
we do.
yeah, we got a little bit more in the
You put it in the store, right? We were out of it. We were sold out of everything. We
Yeah.
were sold out of our Chardonnay. We were sold out of our Petite Syrah. We were sold out of everything.
Mhm.
And I got to thank you guys for that because,
Yeah.
you know, what a crazy thing. We went into the pandemic and we were all ready to go on tour. We were all ready to get crazy and
Yeah.
absolutely the whole world came to its knees. So I needed wine. I knew you guys needed wine. So we didn't usually open up our little wine store,
Yeah.
but we did. And thank you for buying it.
Yeah, I
We
mean-
totally sold out. We just got more in. We
Yeah.
just got more bottled, which was great. So thank you guys for being so supportive of our wines and music and all of it. So it's kind of a cool thing.
It's very special. So for those who don't know, that Mindi owns a wine company with me, and we go out and we find incredible wines from super high-end winemakers that you just can't find on the market. We get them for
You find them.
and you taste them. So we only choose 8 wines a year. That's it.
Yeah.
And we go through hundreds. And then Mindi creates all the artwork for the label, like the Imagine we put up before. So it's all absolutely unique artwork on the labels, and they're all music and wine related artworks. We pair every wine style with music, and it's different wines. It could be Pinot Noir, it could be Cabernet, it could be sparkling wine, Viognier, could be Merlot, Malbecs. So it's a really cool, membership if you're interested in buying wine.
It's
and
music.
you want to
It
learn.
can be blues. It
And you
can
wanna
be
learn.
jazz. It can be, one of ours was Harmony this past shipment, and it was all bands and artists that were all great harmonies and vocal harmonies, and it was such a cool playlist.
Mhm.
Our neighbor Cheryl was like, "Oh my God, I loved that playlist," and we just played it over and over. But they ran out of wine before the playlist stopped, so they had to go into their second bottle of wine.
Right. So we found that wine and music pair together, as you could tell, with Mindi playing Imagine and Pinot Noirs. And, we'll continue to do this with you guys as long as you support us. And we just can't thank you enough to allow us to do what we love to do in our lives. My job was to manage big wineries, and now it's to manage our little membership. And I couldn't be happier doing that, probably more than any big winery that I've ever managed. All right, so let's end this up. We were almost an hour in. Let's talk a little bit about Pinot Noir. So everybody out there, please tell me what you're drinking. Once again, we have a whole bunch of new people that have come in.
Well, I
since
know
we
you
started.
finished your bottle already.
Yeah, you probably finished what you were drinking when you first came in. So tell us what you're drinking. We're going to have Kevin come back in here. Kevin's pointing at something, so let's add him back in. We'll take him off mute so he doesn't say anything inappropriate, right?
What? Kevin, say something inappropriate?
No history there.
What were you pointing at there a second ago?
No, you were mocking the fact that Eric had finished the bottle, and I was pointing out that I still had some left in mine. So I mean,
And we do, and it's 2 of us, and you do, and it's only 1 of you. So
and keep going. There we go.
and scene.
You had a music intermission to drink in, too.
Yeah, you had time to chill, right? All right, so let's just talk, this one slide that I'm going to put up about Pinot that I love. And this will be the last wine geeky thing we do on here. Pinot Noir is one of my, and I know Kevin's, and I know Mindy's favorite wines. Like I said before, though, it's either totally outstanding or it's really kind of okay.
I like the good ones.
Yeah, I like the good ones too. She really loves the good ones. But the things about Pinot Noir that I love, because it's so difficult to make, and I was very fortunate to manage a winery in Russian River one time called Gary Farrell.
Oh yeah.
And Gary Farrell was one of the pioneers of Pinot Noir in California. But the French figured out Pinot Noir a long, long time ago. In California, obviously, we took our time a little bit. We messed around with Chardonnays and Cabernets and other wines, and the Gallos messed around with Chablis and whatever else they were goofing around with. But now we have some of the greatest Pinot Noirs in the world are grown in California, Northern California, where we live up there. But why? Because Pinot Noir is probably one of the most delicate and most beautiful wines. If you look at this taste profile right here, and again, I'm using Wine Folly because these things are excellent. This is pretty generic slide, but if you don't know Pinot, this is what you should be getting from it. The Pinot we're drinking right now, absolutely cherry, raspberry, mushroom, vanilla. And, a lot of people ask me when we do the live tastings, can you really taste these flavors in wine? And Kevin, the answer is absolutely. When you put your nose in this glass of wine that we're drinking right here, you can absolutely smell cherry. It's a brilliant thing about grapes that have this ability in wine to have these flavors, and all in a very complex way, almost like a fine cuisine that you get from a restaurant,
Pinot is one of the grapes that will it will show so many subtleties, and you just got to let it open up. And even if in the other part, like Burgundy, you will get an earthiness to it, and some people will smell earthiness, and maybe they'll smell kind of a musty cellar kind of thing and think it's a bad thing. Pinot Noir can show an earthiness that's lovely from a cool climate, but then you can get a little bit of a warmer climate, like maybe even Carneros or Sonoma Coast relative to Burgundy, and it's still not going to be overripe. But all of these flavors are always going to be a little more delicate and a little harder to find. But man, it's so worth kind of like peeling back that onion.
And one of to Kevin's point right now about the complexity of it, Louise has an excellent question. Can you see that on the bottom there? Not question. She's making a statement about Mendocino.
Absolutely.
Pinot Noirs, which, Kevin, right?
Yeah.
Mindy, some of the best Pinot Noirs in the world. That would rival Burgundy and some other places in the world to me.
Yeah.
It's a cooler climate. Remember, Pinot Noir is a delicate grape to grow. It's a delicate grape to work with in the winery. Generally speaking, in the cooler climate, so think about it, Oregon is cooler because it's further north, right? The coast of California is cooler because it's on the coast. So the Mendocino, the Ukiah, the Sonoma Coast, that Russian River Valley, where you get all of that coastal air that keeps things cool, that's really where you're going to find the longer you can grow Pinot on the vine in a cooler climate so it develops without getting too big, it's really going to pay off in the long term. With absolutely, utterly no disrespect to people who grow Pinot in warmer climates, I just think you miss the boat by overcooking it. This is one of the things that you want to underbake and not overbake.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great analogy. So
okay, will you give me a couple? I'm just going to ask, as a saxophonist here, I play saxophone. You guys are wine experts.
She knows wine really well. Don't go for these people.
I mean, I've got my favorite Pinots because you lived up in Healdsburg, for the first couple of years that we were dating, in Sonoma. Right. But we would take our little trips down to Russian River and goof off there. I loved Papa Pietro Perry. There's some Russian River Pinots that are amazing, but and Gary Farrell is amazing too. Oh my God. Right. But what are some of your favorites, or, if you guys are watching, give me some of your favorites. Cause I just know what I know or what I've been, accustomed to,
So some of the favorite wine brands?
Yeah. Pinot Noir.
Oh,
yeah.
I think, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was saying, I early on when we first logged on and people were saying what were they drinking, somebody had said they were drinking Joseph Swan, and whoever that is out there, Joseph Swan and the original founder of the Rocchioli family. I don't know if it was John or Tom Rocchioli. So both the Swan and the Rocchioli families are credited with what's referred to as luggage varietals, where they smuggled in vine cuttings from Burgundy in the 60s, and they planted them in the Russian River valleys. And I'll tell you something, if you find yourself a Joseph Swan, a Rocchioli, the old school guys and families growing in the Russian River Valley, those are beautiful wines.
Yeah,
Okay,
I agree.
cool.
And, we found that little winery Mindy's mentioning called Papa Pietro Perri. It's based in Dry Creek, but they make all the wine out of Russian River. It's probably one of the best under the radar Pinots. If anybody has any questions, email us at reservetastings@gmail.com. But we'll send you this. Papa Pietro is lights out, outstanding.
So good.
All small lot, little vineyards. There's another one called Talisman. All they do, it's based in Edna Valley in Sonoma. All they do is Pinots. Another place, they have like 10 now. They get crazy with all these little small lot Pinots. So Talisman is another one. Kevin, we got somebody here asking a lot of questions about where we used to work for a winery in Sanford.
There we go.
Santa Rita Hills. Sorry, right. Santa Rita Hills.
Santa Lucia.
Yeah.
No, Santa Rita, right.
Right. So Santa Rita, for everybody who doesn't know, is way south. It's in Santa Barbara County. So if you think about Sonoma and Napa, which is way northern California, it's a 8-hour drive, almost 7-hour drive from there all the way down. And Santa Barbara County is making some incredible Pinots. Sea Smoke is from that area as well.
I love their label. I'm just being a girl right now, but that Sea Smoke label, I love the wine too, but the label's beautiful.
I couldn't agree more. It's probably one of the best labels out there. But there's one characteristic that Santa Rita has going for it. And what is that? It's, even though it's in Southern California, which is considered warm.
So for me, Santa Rita Hills, there was such exposure to the ocean in the Santa Rita Hills. Mm-hmm. You would always get these winds that would come through the Santa Rita Hills. And here's what that means, is the more you stress and literally beat up a grapevine, when you stress it, it starts to shut down to protect itself. And so wind and cold will make a vine shut down and produce less fruit, but produce better fruit. So all that wind screaming through the Santa Rita Hills really, really stresses out those vines. You get really, really low yields. And so just the concentration of flavor down there, it kind of led to its own kind of perfect storm that made great wine. Then everybody wanted it. Then everybody wanted it. And it made great wine. And there was less of it.
It's pretty amazing. We have a couple people, one of our friends is on here from that area. And, you could have a super warm day. It could be 90 degrees. And you could see that fog rolling way in valley because even though it's Santa Barbara County and everybody believes that's a warm place, you and I both know we've crawled out of restaurants at night, and it's pretty damn cold out, and it could be August. So, it's one of our favorite areas from Pinot Noirs. And I'm looking here, guys. Oh,
you guys definitely want to go out with them at night because, you don't just walk out of a restaurant. You stumble a little bit.
So there's a person here by the name of Jacqueline File. I don't know who this is. Are you familiar with this person, Jackie? She's antagonizing us a little bit with this, But
keep antagonizing them, please, Jackie.
One of my favorite people on the planet. What's up, JP?
And one of our favorite wines, Failure. All right, so thank you, Kevin. We just want to say thank you so much for spending this hour with us and dealing with our technical challenges and working with us and doing one of our first kind of co-tastings here, and could not enjoy having you in here more. But Kevin also is a geek with champagnes, Bordeaux, and you can geek out with me in California wines. So
just like Peter White and I are going to do a volume 2, we may do a volume 2 with the wine. Yeah,
So thank you so much for being here with us today, my friend. We love you. You're one of the greatest people on the planet to us.
Thanks for having me, guys. So good to see you guys. I love you too. Mindy, I don't know how you put up with him, but you're a saint.
It's in the bottle, my friend. It's in the bottle. We've seen your wife. She's hot too. We've seen all that liquor you have behind you. We know. Keep her sedated. She'll love you.
I just hope I hope everybody realizes what you guys are bringing to the table between your experience in making wine and creating brands, her music. I mean, to have a wine club and to have the kinds of experiences you guys are bringing forward, sign me up anytime, man.
Thank you.
All right, brother. We love
You're
you.
part of the family.
We love you.
Bye.
All right, everybody. Well, Mindi, do you have anything to say to everybody? We have so many people that have just hung with us for this whole hour for this amazing Burgundy and Pinot tasting. We drank the whole bottle. I would say I drank most of it as you were playing.
No, I drank a lot of it before I played. No, I just want to say thank you. You know, you come for our Tuesday nights. Obviously, we can't be on the road right now.
Yeah.
You know, it's just not that kind of a party, but we're trying to create music for you guys that is safe and that isn't going to hurt anyone or hurt us. So I've got a few things that I'm working on that I think you guys are really going to enjoy. And, you know, I'll just keep posting them. Make sure you follow me on Facebook. Make sure you follow our wine company, Reserve Tastings, on Facebook or Instagram, because we're going to do more of this stuff because it's our way of connecting with you guys. To drink wine with you makes us feel normal, makes him feel normal to talk, you know, all the geeky stuff about it. And then for Tuesday nights, it makes me feel normal to play music for you guys. And I'll keep doing it with people I love when we're allowed to be together, which is awesome. So I want to play. Someone asked for "Smile."
Sure.
Sure.
I got nothing.
You know,
I got nothing to do now. Let's do it.
You know.
Yeah.
But yeah, you guys have asked for a couple songs, so you know, I take requests.
No, but
right?
I saw "Smile," so let's do it.
Okay. That's awesome. Jim said it's one day closer to when you'll be on the road, and one day we will be on the road.
Yes.
But for now, this is how we get to be. So that's kind of fun.
Yes.
So cheers to you guys. Thank you for coming. I'm just going to play us out with a little music because that's what I do.
Well, I got to put up your banner.
A little banner?
Yeah.
What? All right.
You
Put
start
up a
playing.
banner.
I'll put up a banner.
All right. Thank you guys. Cheers.
Cheers.
True Blue because I felt like it.
Wait. Thank you, Joe.
I can't sing and play at the same
track.
time. It's crazy. So I'm like, no. Okay.
Right. We got people that are hanging with us here. We feel like we should hang with you, but we should probably go, right?
We're going to let you guys go. We know you got stuff to do. You've got tomatoes to plant. You've got wine to drink. But thanks for hanging with us.
Oh, that's right. We had a tomato reference tonight.
Yeah.
A couple.
Mm-hmm.
One inappropriate.
A couple inappropriate. Yeah.
All right. We'll clean it up next time.
No, we won't.
No. All right. Well, thank you guys. Cheers, everybody.
We love you. See you next time.
Cheers. Cheers.